Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome back, sleepyheads, to the Sleepy Hollow after show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. We're talking about episode 313, Dark Mirror. I'm your host, Zach Wilson. Thank you so much for joining us today. You can tweet me throughout the week, throughout the show, at that Zach Wilson. Now let me introduce my panel. Jacque Borowski.
Holla.
Stephen Lemieux.
Hey guys, what's up?
We're here to talk about the Jersey Devil.
Wait, we're talking about Daria Baronato, our host who's now a wrestler with NXT who goes by the Jersey Devil?
No. That's not who. No.
Oh.
I mean, I thought we were going to talk about Martin Brodeur for like the next 45 minutes.
Oh.
Did you want to start with the Jersey Devil?
No,
Daria's this great.
That was the big thing out of this episode. Well, Jackie, what do you think of the episode?
I mean, I liked it in the sense that it moved the plot forward again. I think I'm a little bummed because I did like the Jersey Devil as a character, and when you do Monster of the Week stuff like they do with the Kindred, you just kind of like are killing off these characters that I'm like,
they could be great.
Yeah, the thing with the Jersey Devil was that he had this cool tie-in to like Franklin and Ichabod with a backstory, and so I kind of like that. I thought maybe he could be used as a foe more often.
He could have been a more street level rival for Ichabod, as opposed to like the hidden one who's like this, and even Pandora, who are just big, powerful, godlike beings that they're up against. He could have been a step above Vest of the Week in that he's like there on the ground fighting.
Yeah,
you know what it is? Yeah, it's that there's not enough gears in motion. Right now, you have Ichabod and Abby, and then you have the hidden one in Pandora. Mm-hmm. You don't have like Ichabod and Abby, this group that's doing their thing, this group that's doing their thing, this group that's doing their thing, and the hidden one. We're just expecting anyone that Ichabod and Abby run into be directly associated with the hidden one. We don't have enough unknowns that we've been introduced to expect something to be like, okay, is this somebody sent by the hidden one, or is this a member of the Hessian party? Is this something else? Like, you're kind of just locked into this box of knowing exactly where everything's coming from and the motivations behind it.
See, I didn't actually mind that he was working with the hidden one so much as like that we got rid of him so quickly that like that didn't, because if he was the hidden one keeps talking about having like lieutenants. Or
we're the foot soldiers.
But not just like a foot soldier that he throws one at a time at them, but like somebody who like sticks around and like is a soldier for him, and not just like cannon fodder.
I think I agree with both of those things. But yeah, Steve, that's one of the things that I loved about season 1 was that there were so many variables at play, and I feel like even now we know, I guess it's inferred that the symbol is tied to the hidden one, and I was kind of hoping that the symbol would be something separate. Yeah. Just because I would have enjoyed that extra variable. I would have enjoyed, okay, now we're bringing this other thing too.
Do we know 100% that it's his symbol? And I
don't, like, we know that it's on the temple. The symbol is on the temple where at the catacombs where Abby was.
They say catacombs so much in this show.
I know, and I just keep thinking of Matt Lieberman with the catacombs.
The catacombs.
We know that the symbol was on the catacombs building, which it seemed in the flashback that whole building, like the basement portion, the catacombs portion, was the hidden one's section, and then the top portion was his brother's. Yeah. So part of me is like, well, what if that is the symbol for his brother, whoever his brother is?
Yeah, well, let's talk about the flashback. Like, that was the big thing, I think, overall, the overarching story that we got out of this episode was we got the backstory of the Hidden One from the weird
video.
wax video records that what was his
Guys,
name?
it's logical technology, okay?
Jimmy John's.
Japheth Leeds.
Oh, Japheth Leeds, not Jimmy John's.
Japheth Leeds created a video projector 200 years before
he's got skills.
It existed. Yeah,
he's got skills.
Because wax totally projects images.
And wax totally
doesn't, science.
And wax totally doesn't like melt or destroy over time.
Yeah. That's why we have so many of those original phonograph cylinders around.
That's why I have wax movies. Duh.
All right. Anyway, but so those gave us the our first really backstory, our first look at the backstory of the Hidden One.
Yes.
And it's basically Hades.
Yeah, it's what Steve said. He mentioned it earlier on, which is the Hidden One is kind of Hades, which makes sense because you have him with Pandora, and then
Greek mythology.
It's Greek mythology, which is weird though because if you look up, the Hidden One is a reference to an Egyptian god Amun, who eventually got melded with Ra and just became the god that created everything. So it's basically the equivalent of Zeus. So it's kind of confusing because he has this name of an Egyptian god who would be the equivalent of Zeus, but...
That doesn't bother me that much, and I'll tell you why. It's because throughout this show, we're introduced to historical figures whose histories are less than exact to what the books say.
Yeah.
So anything that we read on Zeus or read on the Hidden One or read on Hades in our real world, like outside of the TV show just takes it as, okay, if you're going to add years and years and years and years and millennium of rumors and exaggerations and things change that story, let's just throw it in the ballpark and anything could technically be accurate. Because everything just gets dwindled down with age. Like, nobody would expect that Thomas Jefferson had this gigantic crucible underneath the ground that had all the knowledge and computers and stuff. But honestly, you can't say that he didn't, just because history is faded with time.
Yeah. The way I look at the two myths, I mean, like you just said, there was a point where Ra and... Amun sort of got combined.
I don't even know if I'm saying that right, so please don't slaughter me. I read things. I did not hear them.
They sort of got combined, and that you could sort of look at that as that happened when the Hidden One was freed. That he took over whatever.
Yeah, he took over Ra's responsibility. Yeah, I could see that.
And power.
Yeah.
And so that got the god of light that we saw is sort of a Zeus-Ra combination. And then when the Hidden One was Hades, broke out and of just being the god of the underworld and took over the sky, he also took on the title of Ra.
I like that idea and I like that setup. It's just I still feel like even in the flashbacks, the Hidden One's like, I've been banished to here, and I need to get my power back.
So it's like the same story.
Like
my brother doesn't like me. I'm just like, he made me stay in the basement.
I know.
He doesn't let me play the Xbox, Mom.
I do like though that he came out to like interact with Leeds' character, the goat scorpion boy.
Yeah, he didn't just like look at him through like a water camera.
Yeah, I like that we're bringing him out to like interact with his minions, as inefficient as they are. I'm not crazy about his robe either. I was like, really?
His creepy god robe?
Yeah, it's so like Pandora's outfits are so well constructed, and that seemed to me so poorly constructed. I was like, really? You couldn't make him a better robe? He's got like these weird circular terrible discs.
It was handmade by the slaves of the underworld, and they would really not appreciate you bad-mouthing their workmanship at this moment.
They also happen to be the same costumers as the Power Rangers. Just saying.
So you're saying the Power Rangers costumes were made by slaves of the underworld?
Yes. That is exactly what I'm saying.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was disappointed in that because it's like if you're building this guy up to be a big, bad kind of guy, and the actor has all the right things, is part of what is I find so annoying about this, because the actor himself is like, he's got this cool voice and he's imposing, and you're like, but you're not letting him do anything, and then you're putting him in a silly bathrobe. Stop that.
Yeah. I mean, but at least he's out. He gets out. Like, this is the first time he's left the house.
Yes.
In millennia.
Yeah. He didn't change out of his bathrobe, but he left the house.
I just imagine him, like, going about town and just slapping random puddles and seeing whose heads explode.
Yes, he's like, you.
This puddle is angry.
But the whole adventure that they're on, I guess you could say, like, it's to get him the sands of life.
Yes, cool. The hourglass, the sands of the hourglass from the days of our lives, which is all I could think about. I was like, they're building the days of our lives.
But that's why he enlists the Jersey Devil.
Yes,
and I like that they brought in a myth that I'm like semi-familiar with, at least the name of.
That is one of the things that I find strongest about Sleepy Hollow, is when they bring in like a Frankenstein monster or, you know, very well-known myths. And
like the Sandman. The Sandman's still one of the most memorable monsters they've created on this show.
And I think, again, Sleepy Hollow doing what it does best, tying a well-known mythology, the Jersey Devil, into a character that's connected with Ichabod, which, interestingly enough, I read that the Jersey Devil mythology extends back to the colonial era, and the guy was actually, his last name would be Leeds, because the dad was named Japheth Leeds, but the actual Jersey Devil was like the 13th son of Japheth Leeds.
Oh, interesting.
So they kept that kind of like name, time period. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, the idea that like Benjamin Franklin had this like squirrely rival who's like, you're such a dick, like you.
And I liked the actor too. I liked the actor who played it. He had this like wonderful British sneer about him that I thought was like perfect for. I thought it was perfect for the role, and so I was kind of bummed that, you know, we got rid of him so soon. Somebody on the chat roll called him the Lightning Rod Demon.
Lightning Rod Demon. I mean, he's a dick, but he's a good inventor. Not just the movie projector, but he created a lightning rod that wasn't a key.
And I like the idea that maybe this, like, tying in these characters to the elements is maybe like tying them to these like mythological gods who were heavily tied into like earth elements, like wind and the sun. Like Amun was originally the god of the air before he was tied in with Ra, who's the god of the sun. So I kind of like that play too.
Yeah, but so they set out to hunt down the Jersey Devil.
Yes.
What did you think of the design? This yellow-faced, like, blue scorpion tail with, like, horns.
I know I compare things to Buffy a lot, but it reminded me of a lot of the goofier like demons on Buffy who end up not being the scary ones, but the ones that are like, it reminded me of Lorne. Do you remember him? He was on Angel. It kind of, and I mean, bless that actor, he's dead. I do. But he was kind of like the friendlier demon, the non-scary demon. So it kind of reminded me too much of that. Whereas Sleepy Hollow, like Steve said, the Sandman was a very memorable demon. We have had on Sleepy Hollow some actually like nightmare terrifying demons.
Yeah.
So to have him be so kind of like goofy looking,
it was a little
throwing me off.
It was out of place.
Yeah.
Because you're right, like that creature design would have been perfectly at home in a show like Buffy. It
right.
would have,
here it's like Goat Boy.
Yeah, it is kind of like Goat Boy. My first thought was
the witnesses. I'm going to kill you.
Benjamin Franklin.
He kind of talked like that too when he first talked to the Hidden One, because he was like, my voice is like broken or whatever. So he kind of had that like Goat Boy voice, and I'm like, what is this?
Ichabod!
And it's a shame because it's like, I thought that actor was a really good actor, and you put him in all this makeup, and it's just not. it's not congruent with what I was expecting.
You're insane. No, I'm the devil.
I'm the devil, goat boy.
Sting of a scorpion, claws of a wolf, voice of a sheep. Yeah, I mean, look, it was cool. It just like there was some tweaks that were like, it felt a little off.
Yeah.
From the game of Sleepy Hollow.
Right.
But the story, like, I sort of warmed to it as we went through the episode. Like, it was better towards the back half when we're like actually having to fight him.
Yes.
In the field.
Where he stabs Ichabod with his scorpion tail. I feel like this is the 90th time Ichabod has been some sort of poisoned.
He's got so many poisons in his blood stream at this point, and so many antidotes.
I was like, really? Ichabod gets poisoned again? Like,
it's almost like the Batman thing, like he's always got an antidote in his belt. Good thing that I'm resistant against goat boys, because when I was raised from 6 to 7, I stayed in the Hartford, Connecticut school for goat boy poisons.
Well, he memorized the poison antidote, so it's like, maybe that's why, like, he knows he's getting poisoned, so he memorizes all these things.
Abby really nails that formula that she was measuring on the fly.
It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we had this convenient jar of goat boy poisoning sitting around in the lair.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, that part didn't sit true for me because of that, because it was too easy for her to figure out how to cure him, and it was
especially
also
without
just
like, you know, when you're baking a cake, it's like you need to get the portions right, which is why I never make a good cake, because I suck at getting the right portions.
Because you gotta weigh it. You can't just measure it. You have to weigh it.
I don't know
Desserts, baking is by weight. It's not by measurement.
Really?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, especially when you're making like chocolate and sweets and stuff.
Oh, see, I don't know anything about that, but I do know that you have to get the portions right. And he's just like, I need this, this, and that. And Abby's like, yep, bam, 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 right proportions, everything mixed together.
She's making it more like an alcoholic beverage.
Yes.
Where you're just like, well, that works and that works.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll just put this and like just
exactly.
It's better that way.
Let's go to the other side of the coin though, and let me play devil's advocate here for a second. And what if the influence from being connected with the Hidden One has given her this knowledge?
Why would the Hidden One want to save Ichabod, though? Like,
no,
why
it's
would
just
he...
knowledge. I'm not saying that he's actively giving her the recipe. I'm saying being mentally connected in some way, shape, or form as she is, seeing the symbol everywhere, has that granted her knowledge of how to deal with some of these things? Or is it just an innate wisdom of the witness?
I mean, there could be arguments for that. They've never established any witness abilities like that at this point.
True.
I would be totally open to that as a characteristic of the witnesses.
Right. Like they can make anti-poisons.
They become good with chemistry, or they're good. It would be antibodies.
Yeah.
They become good with chemistry, or they become stronger, or anything like that. Yeah.
Antidote, not anecdote.
Anecdote.
Not anecdote. Antidote.
She's really trying her set over at the Comedy Store. You got the witness level anecdotes.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Those anecdotes are great.
But yeah, so I mean, Abby in this episode is going through her own ringer of sorts.
We know she's obsessed with that symbol, and then towards the end of the episode we learn from Ichabod that symbol is bad, but we don't even exactly know why, which was irritating me, because you would think for him to explain to Abby why she needs to separate herself from the symbol, he would explain, like, this is why it's evil. And I mean, yes, Abby does make the ultimate decision to say, like, I need your help to help me stop being obsessed with this symbol. But at the same time, you think he would just say, oh, this is why it's bad, and this is why, like, you should separate yourself from it.
Well, I don't necessarily agree, because words only have meaning if you know the meaning behind them. Like, that's one of the main things that some books go over with, like, casting spells or doing incantations or drawing symbols even. Like, you can draw a magical symbol all you want. If you don't know the meaning of it, it has no power. So if Ichabod was to tell her the meaning of the symbol, and then in her mind she knows that, and then is drawing the symbols, I feel like more power
would give it power.
Yeah, more power would come out of it.
Okay, I will buy that logic. I do not think the writers thought of that logic, but I will buy that.
Look, I will find any way to make an excuse for watching this show every week.
I do think, though, I think it's going to be a bait and switch. Like, I feel like the symbol's going to be associated with the Hidden One's brother rather than the Hidden One.
I agree. It was too easy for it to be connected to him. It was just too convenient.
And I want to know, like, does the thrall mean more than her just having PTSD and being obsessed with it from being in the catacombs? Like, I don't know if it's just like, oh, I'm obsessed with this because I couldn't eat or sleep or like dream or like function as a normal human being, so I became obsessed with the only...
I think it's the symbol for the catacombs, and she's just obsessed with catacombs. No, but I literally think it's because I'm going to stop saying literally, she is an escaped demon. If you think about it,
that's true.
She escaped from the underworld through a well. She was not set free from the underworld.
Yeah.
She was not released from the underworld. She escaped from the Hidden One's realm. She is marked by the Hidden One's realm, and she is beholden to it.
So do you think any of the demons that we come across become obsessed with that symbol?
I think it's his power that calls him. I think anyone who's from that realm would be obsessed. I don't think it's like an obsession. I think that's his power calling to her.
I do think there is some sort of consequence to, in any sort of like mythology, there has to be a consequence to you. Abby basically, quote unquote, died to save her friends by going into this realm, like by bringing the shard into the realm. And because she essentially was not supposed to escape that, and I think that did make her marked, because by escaping her own death.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, we still haven't seen where she came out of on the other side of the well. She just appeared.
She came out in the water.
In the
creek.
The creek.
Oh, she did come out in the creek.
Yeah.
Okay.
She dropped into the well and then popped out.
It'd be interesting to see, like, why does Ichabod know that symbol is bad? Like, maybe Betsy Ross had the same reaction when she came out.
He only seemed to know it was bad because it was in Leeds'
I just got
laboratory.
Something.
Like, he just was like, this Leeds has this.
Right.
It must be bad. What are you thinking?
Betsy Ross escaped the same way as Abby,
yes,
so she would have suffered the same thing Abby's suffering right now.
Yeah.
So if what caused the downfall of whatever happened to Betsy Ross, whether it's history has paved over it as some, like, oh, she died quietly in her sleep, when really it was just some big thing where she was going to do something evil, or she tried to assassinate George Washington and Ichabod had to be the one to stop her, or whatever it is, she was beholden to another power. That would explain, she would have been drawing the same symbol around Ichabod. She would have been more obsessed just as Abby is now, so Ichabod would know, oh crap, this is a sign of this. Whatever happened to Betsy is now happening to Abby. Yeah. So hopefully she's not going to just design a flag and die. Hopefully I can save her from that fate.
I mean, I didn't see any evidence that he recognized the symbol from beforehand, but that doesn't mean he's not seeing the same pattern. I mean, what we're getting with Abby in this episode is very much an addiction, like, metaphor.
Yes.
But to be honest, I thought it was sort of a weak analogy. Like, I didn't think they used that idea
correctly
to its fullest. No step was like, oh, that's not how addiction works. It was just like, they did it so quickly because we only found out about this in the last episode, and then, like, she basically deals with it for like a day or two. And it doesn't have the big consequences that you need to drive home, and like how devastating an addiction can be to somebody's life. Like, she almost like doesn't save Crane, but that's almost like for this to have the weight of like a drug addiction, which is
a consequence.
Yeah, there needed to be a consequence. There needed to be something some really bad thing that happened as a result. She never hit or even came close to hitting rock bottom.
I could agree with that, because we have Ichabod having that scene with Jenny at brunch where he's saying, oh, Abby's really bad, blah blah blah, but it's like, we as viewers are like, yeah, this is bad, like, you shouldn't be drawing like worshipping weird symbols in your garage. But at the same time, it didn't seem to impair her too much.
All she wanted to do was stay near it.
Yeah.
And she was making excuses to stay near it.
Like, I could see where maybe she like stopped showing up for her job for a couple of days or something, and then that's when the red flag came, because it's like, oh, well, Abby's a responsible person, so why is she doing this?
Yeah, but they even make a point within this episode of saying, like, you're going back to work, like, your life's getting back on track. So, like, she seems to be getting better with this thing. It's not adversely affecting her life, which is what addictions do. Addictions are very dangerous things. And
and the same thing with PTSD is like we have this reference too to PTSD, and it's like it seems more kind of an obsession, but I would have thought she would have more of a PTSD reaction to what happened to her.
Yeah, because they say soldiers do what they can when they get back from war, and I think that the idea is that this another symptom of Abby's PTSD, and because a lot of people that are dealing with that find themselves either addicted to alcohol or prescription drugs or non-prescription drugs. And that's a totally legitimate place to go. I just wish they'd leaned into it a little harder.
And it might be interesting to see how they lean into it in the future, because it affects everyone differently. So they could potentially have some personality side effects, even if Abby wasn't seeing this, seeing this image. My friend was in Marine Corps. He was one of the people who scrapped the IEDs. So he'd go out with the metal detector and find the IEDs. Ooh. And he said that when he was back, he never thought about the stuff that happened over there. But when he went to see a doctor, his blood pressure was just continually high, and he was quick triggered. He was very quick to get angry, very big mood swings, and he didn't even realize that he was affected by anything. He thought he was fine. Yeah. It just kind of is one of those subconscious things that is always just gnawing at you, and he didn't realize that he had a problem until he went to a doctor and figured out that there's certain things you need to do whether you think you're fine or not.
Yeah, there's a lot of involuntary response to PTSD. My dad was in the Gulf War, and he hates candles. And he doesn't really, he just doesn't, he thinks they're a safety hazard or whatever. But he was at a party once, and he just started blowing out the person's candles at the party. And my mom was like, this is not even our house. Why is he doing that? And he didn't even realize he had done it. When she told him, she was like, you just blew out that person's candles all around their living room. And he was like, what? And so I feel like there's almost this subconscious response that they are kind of addressing here, but not really addressing.
That's the thing. It's I applaud them for going after that storyline, because I think it's a very good way to do it. It's very, especially, and I love when fantasy shows go into those very real world scenarios. This felt like a half measure. They could do this in a big way.
But you could also say that, this might not even be an addiction. This might not even be something as serious as what we think it is. It could just be her mind's way of coping while being alone for 10 months in a place, was kind of just becoming hypnotized by this symbol that was there. And now it's kind of like the Castaway Wilson thing, where every time he sees a Wilson volleyball after that, it kind of comes to mind. And she's kind of trying to escape into her own mind at times, and that's what she had used. The symbol is what she had used, so it's kind of an escape for her in a way. I don't know.
People in the chat roll are also pointing out, which I think it's good to just mention, when she thought Jenny was gonna discover the symbol, she gave her the dirtiest look ever, which I think, to me, that spoke to kind of the involuntary nature of it. Is Abby probably didn't even know she was doing that, and I think that there's something sinister about her trying to protect this symbol.
Yeah, they're definitely that's the thing. They're absolutely hinting at these storylines, and I think they may do some more with it as we go forward. So I'm excited to see what else they do. I just thought that they resolved her addiction stuff by the end of this episode very easily, but it did seem resolved, not seemingly resolved, and maybe it'll come back. It seemed like they had sort of dealt with it by the end of the episode.
Let me throw out one more theory here. I'm sorry, I know we have to move on. No. The other thing I can only think of is putting yourself in her shoes in 10 months, just exploring. That's the symbol for home, in a way. Anytime she would leave for a long extended period of time to map the area out, that was what she would probably be looking for to realize that she's back to safety and back to the closest thing to reality that she knows. So that symbol could even be, in her mind, a positive thing not a negative thing. And now that she's left, this technically is an adventure for her away from that place yet again. Mm-hmm. And she's just, in her mind, being called home, it's time to get back to where I'm from. If she had kind of, the energies or something has kind of bound her to that temple within the Hidden One's place. So her coming to the real world, coming really home, is just an exploration and mapping it out before she's being called back to where she needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she'll go back there. I think we'll have to go back to the Hidden One's temple.
We've got to go back. Sorry.
Marty, we've got to go back. Sorry.
There's no Kate in this show, so I can't really yell the full quote. But so the only other really plotline we got in this episode was
the
Joni.
Yeah, Joni plotline.
Joni plotline, where and it was cute. It was cute. He like her sink broke.
I was actually, when her sink broke, I was getting so excited because they had that scene in the beginning where they're all eating brunch together, and I wanted to be like, look guys, they are moving into the house with them because the sink is broken, and now they're going to be a team in this house. And instead he just bought her a new trailer.
I was a little bit thrown from this because I feel like they had... when did Joe get super rich?
See, that was another thing I was really like trying to figure out, because he references like Nevins money, like some money he got from like the deal with Nevins, but I'm like, I thought he didn't end up getting anything out of that.
Did they take
and then I'm like, did they just take that?
Yes, money?
That was the only thing I could think of, because I was like, I thought he didn't really get anything out of the deal with Nevins. Like, do they even know Nevins is dead? That's another thing. It's like, do they even...
No, they wouldn't know that he's dead.
Yeah, it's like, do they even know he's dead? So then it's like, I think he just absconded that money that was in the coffin.
I mean, hell yeah. Why not?
So...
Coffin cash.
Yeah.
So now Joe has coffin cash.
But that's where, like, it wasn't like
I got my debit card, my credit card, my coffin cash.
It wasn't like he got an inheritance somewhere, right? Like...
Because he keeps... I don't know, like, it was referenced, in some articles it was referenced as, like, the Nevins Inheritance, and I'm like, but they don't know Nevins is dead.
And, like, Boo is saying, like, didn't his dad leave him his money, but, like...
I don't think his dad was, like,
Papa
filthy
Corbin
rich.
didn't have that much money.
Yeah,
like,
maybe he
like
sold the log cabin.
He just bought a massive trailer, like, on a whim.
Yes.
Like, that's, like Rockefeller type stuff.
I don't know why he didn't just fix the sink though. I guess he's not very good at laying pipe.
Oh, Steve.
Poor
We're gonna
Jenny.
move on. We're gonna move on. From that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought it was like cute. I also thought like her reaction to it was realistic, because like if your boyfriend brought you this really expensive like new home and then like got rid of your old home, you would be like
A little bit upset.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like, let's say for me, like I used to have this old junky car that I loved. If like I came home one day and it was just replaced, and I'd be like, well, where are the things in it? Like, why did you do that? You know?
Like, not that like getting a new trailer is like bad,
right?
But doing it behind her back.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I get his like want to surprise.
Right. I get that
it's
too.
Cute.
I think it's a relatable relationship in the way that like it's so interesting that as opposed to like Ichabod and Abby's problems, which seem to stem from these like crazy supernatural things, the ones that Joe and Jenny are experiencing are like real couple problems. So it's kind of fun to see like a real couple problem in a supernatural environment.
Do you see them staying together?
I do.
Yeah.
But like,
I think they're gonna make it.
They're gonna make it.
They're gonna make it.
They're gonna make it.
No, but like, do you think the writers are gonna be like, all right, now that we've built this, how do we destroy this?
Well,
do we kill Jenny? Do we kill Joe?
Someone in the chat room said he thought it was dirty money from his dad dealing with Nevins. So it must have been an inheritance he got from his dad from dealing with Nevins. I'm still going to hold to the fact though that I think he's got the coffin money.
Coffin cash, man.
He's got the
coffin cash.
Hashtag coffin cash. But yeah, so I mean, I guess that makes sense in that he like hasn't wanted to touch it because he thought it was dirty before, and now he sort of learns it's a little bit cleaner.
Yeah.
Than he once thought.
Because Nevin said his dad was like a honest guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just investing in supernatural artifacts. Who knows?
Who knows? Either way. As Boop reminded me, because I almost forgot about this, Ichabod missed his citizenship interview.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that storyline from 7 episodes ago?
Yeah.
Hey, they brought it back when they brought back Zoe, so it reminded us of it 2 episodes ago.
Did they mention it?
Yeah, she's like, I even called my brother to get you the citizenship interview.
Oh yeah, he totally bailed on that.
I like that plot line too, because it raises the very practical practical question of, like, you have this guy here who's supposedly a British citizen who has, like, no job and no visa and no reason to be here. So I would love to see the Ichabod almost gets deported plotline. And
so that's how we're going to get Ichabod and Abby to get married?
Oh my God!
They're already living together.
Yeah.
Season 4 is green card season.
She marries him for a green card. Hey, if it starts out that way, I'm okay with it.
All of the comments on YouTube are going to be like, you only accept a relationship if it's for a green card? You people suck.
Hey, I like the relationship, and the green card is just a bonus. They have to really think about that.
Yeah, they don't have the coffin cash to spare to just buy one. They got.
All right. Well, I think that's it for this episode. So before we get into predictions, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I think it's time that we take a trip to Sleepington Abbey. This week on Sleepington Abbey, our gang meets a friend from the past, and two couples deal with the issues that may pertain to them.
This evening on Days of Our Lives.
I heard that Mr. Joe went out of his way to not only buy a home for Miss Jenny, but to steal all of her possessions while doing so.
Most scandalous.
Scandalous indeed.
I heard that Ichabod got rid of one of his former friends by saying Benjamin Franklin sends his regards.
Oh, most scandalous. I heard that young Abby Mills has been drawing graffitious symbols all over the place.
Destroying and defacing buildings.
Most scandalous.
Scandalous indeed.
I heard that Miss Pandora was giving a flower to the devil.
Most scandalous.
I've been known to do that as well.
Flowers to the
I'm
devil.
now picturing Steve going up to the hidden one and being like, hey.
I want to watch that.
It's like the 60s protest where they put the flower in the gun.
Oh yeah.
Puts the one daisy in the gun.
I ship Stephen one.
The hidden Lemieux?
Yeah, the hidden Lemieux.
Yeah, that was me last week because I wasn't here. I was the hidden Lemieux.
Oh, God. All right.
Spending my coffin cash.
I think we got to hit predictions.
Oh, my gosh,
before we get out of here. Because next week's trailer looks nuts.
It does. It does.
Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from? Wendigo Joe.
Yes.
I'm so happy that just happened. Yeah, it looks like a piece of Pandora's box is up on the auction block. Let's just move on before we re-examine that statement.
I do. It also looks like Pandora's going to betray him from the previews.
She's finally tired of his stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I could see where like people were arguing, oh, she's human, those powers weren't hers to begin with. There's no way some human who gets that much power is going to want to go back to being like human.
Yeah, but like if you're poor and then you make like a lot of money and it's your money, you're going to be like, this is my money. You're not going to be like, oh, it's the people who paid me this is money's money.
Yeah, exactly.
So like it is her power. He gave it to her, so she earned it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's I think they're throwing us for a little bit of a loop. I don't think she's saying that to the hidden one. I think somebody is trying to disrupt her mental status against the hidden one. But like, he doesn't even give you power. Like, you don't even have whatever he wants, and she's gonna be like, my power's my own. I don't need him. And then she's like flexing. She's just flexing. That was my Pandora voice.
That was an amazing impression of Shannon Sauce.
My lover. Let me grow more demon plants for you, my lover.
But we see, like, I guess that while they're reclaiming the piece of Pandora's box, we saw a shot of Joe with claws coming back out. So I think it looks like we're getting the Wendigo back.
I like this,
which is awesome. It's almost like the showrunners have been listening to us yelling about getting Wendigo Joe back on the show.
Let me throw you a question though: is he doing it voluntarily, or is the hidden one activating it within him against his will.
I would love if it was voluntary, but I could also see it being the hidden one, and that could be a cool piece of like him
fighting that within himself,
ripping the Scooby Gang apart.
Yeah.
But he's gonna
evil Scooby.
Scrappy Doo's head's like bolted to a wall.
Whoa.
Whoa.
It's Scrappy. Nobody cares about Scrappy.
Just our Scooby Gang, man. They're pretty relaxed.
No, but I could see that where it's like he's now torn between like being a lackey of the hidden one,
or maybe Pandora. I'll make this prediction. Pandora originally pulls Joe into being a Wendigo as in an effort to stop them, but as she turns against the hidden one, she ends up helping Joe just be Joe as the Wendigo. And that's how Pandora winds up on our team.
Jessica Bryant in the chat says Joe can only turn one more time before it's permanent, and then Boo69B says Joe touched a piece of the box and started turning into a Wendigo in the promo.
Yeah.
So maybe it's Pandora's box that activates the hidden stuff.
Well, because we know that the box is like the holder of all the evil in the world. It's been confirmed like that. It's the same thing as the Greek myth. Maybe because he touched the box, it let go of his evil side.
Yeah. I could see that. That could be very cool. Any other thoughts, guys?
I mean, I think it'll be pretty good. I think we might be getting my favorite character back.
No, we're never getting him back.
He's gonna return to true form.
No.
And
not too many episodes left.
Zach Wilson, I gotta say, if you're gonna say that all the evils in the box, then Holly could be in that box.
Yes.
Holly's just like
Holly comes out of Pandora's box.
Oh, wait, what?
Huh?
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's 18 episodes in this season that gives us.
When these characters die, do you think they die and go back to Pandora's box, like
Pokemon?
Yeah.
No, they just faint. They don't die. They faint.
No,
I mean, not anymore.
Like
maybe
when the Leeds demon, the lightning rod demon, when he died in this episode, the Jersey Devil. Do you think he died and just went back to her box? Like his spirit?
No, he's probably
there was a lot
shattered.
of blood on the ground there. Like there was like a coat of red, just like where he had been.
Red coats.
Pretty sure he's dead.
Pretty sure we haven't done iTunes shout-outs.
Oh, we have not. Do we have any this week?
Yeah, we got some iTunes
yeah, let's see. Here's some iTunes shout-outs.
Talk about Glue Gunky. Glue Gunky, one of my favorites. Love Sleepy Hollow, and one of the reasons I have stuck with it through the low points is the crew at AfterBuzz. Even when an episode has its flaws, it is still so fun to listen to my friends talk about it. Aw, you're our friend too, Glue Gunky, and I will call you Glue Gunky in person. Take leads on. Take on leads. He'll be mush in a day or two. Line of Ice says, it's about time. Actually, I'll do.
You keep evolving your
I'm gonna do Holly.
Voice you do.
It's about time any of the monsters were actually working for the Hidden One. I wish Leeds had survived for at least another episode just to explore his character and his devotion to the Hidden One more. Especially if I said devotion would be tested. It would be fun watching him and Pandora tag team the Hidden One. Yes, it would.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm glad that next week appears to bring her to the Pandora that actually gets stuff done. I know why Jenny won't move in with Ichabod. Jenny doesn't want Abby to hear the things they do in private. Ooh, that's possible. That was a heated comment.
It's a lot of sexual things.
Lots of sexual things going on there, but it's like when me and Zach Wilson, when you and I play.
You just said there's a lot of sexual things going on, and then you said.
Where are you going with this?
It's when we play Settlers of Catan, and there's so many wood jokes thrown away.
Oh, okay.
Thrown around, and then this show just has Pandora's box, and there's just so many box jokes. It's just unavoidable.
Yeah, I mean,
we did have the spoon not on his nose joke. Which was
well, Franklin's always naked. Franklin's always got something going on, and we've got a lot going on here at AfterBuzz TV. So go on to iTunes or SoundCloud or YouTube. Hit us with a rating, a comment, a review. Hit the thumbs up button. Any of those ways, it all helps us out. And so please go ahead and do it. And if you do, we give you a shout out on the show. So. Until next week. Oh, no.
Some brilliant, fantastic Geronimo in the chest as Pandora opens the box. Henry, Katrina, and Holly pop out.
No! Well, season 1, Henry, maybe.
I mean, if you want to have the scariest season 4 of the show, you just make it be season 2 again.
Oh no.
No, it's too frightening.
That's
it's too frightening.
Sad
okay,
way.
guys, I think that's gonna do it for this week. It's the Sleepy Hollow after show on AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Until next week with episode 14. That's 5 episodes left, guys.
My God.
Only 5 episodes left. Stephen Lemieux, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, STPHNLEMIUX, and go ahead and check out our movie network, The Popcorn Talk Network, youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network, and on Twitter at The Popcorn Talk. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button right there. It's like just a click to do it, so you have no excuses.
Jacque Borowski.
You can find me on my website, 123jackieb.com. That's where my Instagram, Twitter, blog, etc. is.
And you guys can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson, ThatZachWilson, a whole bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz.
I'm also on Drag Race tomorrow night. Not the actual show, just hitting that on the AfterBuzz show.
Yeah.
So check that out.
You guys can find me on the Grimm After Show coming up. We got some really cool exclusive interviews from the Grimm 100th episode Red Carpet that Yale Teedle and I went to last night, so be sure to check that. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. returns this Tuesday, so I hope to see you guys there. I'm Zach Wilson. Thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Good night, sleepyheads.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.